Good day everyone. Welcome to second part of the rise of nationalism in Europe. In this session, we are going to learn a unit in this chapter. The part is the French Revolution and the idea of nation. Introduction. The first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. France, as you would remember, was a full fledged territorial state in 1789 under the rule of an absolute monarch. The political and constitutional changes that came in the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty and the monarch to the body of French citizens. The revolution proclaimed that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation and shape its destiny. Measures and practices to create a sense of collective identity by French. The ideas of la patrie, the fatherland, and le citoyen, the citizen, emphasized the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. A new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The Estates General was elected by the body of the active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. New hymns were composed, oaths taken, and martyrs commemorated, all in the name of the nation. A centralized administrative system was put up in place and it formulated uniform laws and all citizens within its territory. Internal customs duties and dues were abolished and a uniform system of weights and measures was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged and French, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the nation. The revolutionaries further declared that it was the mission and the destiny of the French nation to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. In other words, to help other people of Europe to become nations. When the news of the events in France reached the different cities of Europe, students and other members of educated middle classes began setting up of Jacobin clubs. Their activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies which moved into Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of Italy in the 1790s. With the outbreak of revolutionary wars, the armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. Napoleonic Code. It is also known as Civil Code of 1804. It did away with all privileges based on birth, established equality before the law, secured the right to property. This code was exported to the regions under French control. In Dutch Republic, in Switzerland, in Italy and Germany, Napoleon simplified administrative divisions, abolished the feudal system and freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. In the towns too, guild restrictions were removed, transport and communication systems were improved, peasants, artisans, workers, and new businessmen enjoyed a newfound freedom. Businessmen and small scale producers of goods, in particular, began to realize that uniform laws, standardized weights and measures, and a common national currency would facilitate the movement and exchange of goods and capital from one region to another. Mixed response from the people. The reactions of the local population to French rule were mixed. Initially, in places such as Holland and Switzerland, as well as in certain cities like Brussels, Mainz, Milan, and Warsaw, the French armies were welcomed as harbingers of liberty. The initial enthusiasm soon turned to hostility as it became clear that the new administrative arrangements did not go hand in hand with political freedom. Increased taxation, censorship, forced conscription into French armies required to conquer the rest of Europe all seemed to outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. Why it is said Napoleon had destroyed democracy in France. Following points may prove that it is true. Political rights were not given to the people. He had become the final decision maker. Censorship was imposed. Monarchy was brought back by him in France. Introduced forced conscription into the French armies. Elections were not conducted. Look at the image carefully and observe it, because next slides are the explanation to this image. The cover of a Germanic designed by a journalist Andres Rebman in 1798. The image of French Bastille being stormed by the revolutionary crowd has been placed next to a similar fortress meant to represent the bastion of despotic rule in the German province of Kassel. Accompanying the illustration is the slogan, "The people must seize their own freedom." Rebman lived in the city of Mainz and was a member of a German Jacobin club. Look at this map, and this map we could see here after the Vienna Congress summit, which was held in 1815. This European map we could see after 1815 AD. Correct? Now you need to observe this image once again, and following slides are on the basis of this image. Keenly observe this image. The planning of Tree of Liberty in Zweibrücken, Germany. The subject of this color print by the German painter Karl Caspar Friedrich is the occupation of the town of Zweibrücken by the French armies. French soldiers, recognizable by their blue, white, and red uniforms, have been portrayed as oppressors as they seize a peasant's cart in the left, harass some young woman in center foreground, and force a peasant down to his knees. The plaque, being affixed to the trees of liberty, carries a German inscription which in translation reads, "Take freedom and equality from us, the model of humanity and human." This is a sarcastic reference to the claim of the French as being liberators of whom opposed monarchy in the territories they entered. Just look at this image. He is none other than Napoleon, and some pieces of papers are falling down from his back. So from this image we are going to learn the following slide. The courier of Rhineland loses all that he has on his way home from Leipzig. Napoleon here is represented as a postman on his way back to France after he lost the Battle of Leipzig in 1815. Each letter dropping out of his bag bears the names of the territories he lost. Thank you.